what's the most revenue that you guys have generated in a day?
Revenue? I mean, our merch business, I don't think anyone's ever really, I feel like we were putting up like Kylie Jenner numbers at that time. In the peak of our like merch business, when we were uploading NELK every week, on the road, I think our biggest was 30 million gross in about 30 minutes. 30 million in rev. We had 350,000 people waiting on the site at the time of the drop. Like even Shopify was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And that's revenue, right? So that's
top line.
That's one thing I've never really talked about too much too is, and I know my old partner Jesse would agree too, is that the revenue sounds nice, but when you talk about profit and how much we were spending on videos, maybe people that we pranked were suing us. Like there is so much that number sounds amazing, but in terms of what me and Jesse were
chipped away and
able to pocket, and you know, like Steve will do it. He was getting paid directly off merch. So what me and Jesse were even able to pocket was like nowhere even near that.
It's that line about revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
Yeah, I don't even like talking about revenue too much, to be honest. It's just, it sounds great and it's great to brag about, but
I think it's a good. I understand what you mean, and it's nice that you're like sufficiently humble that you don't want to flex the biggest number that you can.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, what it teaches people is what you can drive in terms of just raw traffic, right? In order to take 30 mil, you need to be able to have
350,000 people on the site. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's impressive for sure. Like we'd look at the map of the Shopify. I don't know if you've ever done like a live drop and you can see all the little, it shows where people are
cool.
on the site from in the entire world. So you just see all these little dots and like you're seeing people in like India and like, it was cool. It was a really cool, that era of NELK was like.
When was that?
That had to be like 2017, maybe 2016.
So this is before John, your now business partner, manager.
This is before that, yeah.
And you were able to still spin this up just all internally.
Yeah, I mean that's what drew them to us was the type of numbers we were putting up. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I don't think anyone's ever really done what we've done with merch and like a YouTube business.
What does the sort of structure of that stuff look like internally?
Back then, it was all in-house. Everything was in-house. So we had designers on payroll. We had a bunch of different people that would source stuff from China. All the marketing was done by Osgod, who's like our creative genius. He's the GOAT. He edits all our videos. Everything was done in-house, which was even crazier. So when we would do a drop, there'd be like 25 people and we'd all be in our NELK frat house. Everyone has their laptops open and we're all watching the numbers.
Full Wi-Fi connections.
Yeah. But at that time it was crazy because like that was the only thing we were doing, you know? There was no Happy Dad, there was no brand deals.
Not even any podcast.
There was no podcast. The only thing we were doing was pushing merch. And our fans literally like helped us build this because like we weren't getting paid off YouTube at all.
Why?
We never got paid off YouTube. We were demonetized since day one, like for swearing, for alcohol, for drug references. Our videos never got monetized. So that was like, that's how we built our merch business. Like we were
because
getting
you needed
views.
Something that was partner program because the partner program didn't exist.
Yeah, we weren't getting paid. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise. We had to get smart and build a business around our audience. So we weren't lying when we were looking into the lens and telling our fans like, hey guys, if you guys buy merch, like you're keeping the,
I can eat dinner tonight.
I can eat dinner. And not only that, we can continue to make these videos. So that's how it was like a reoccurring thing where our fans literally kind of helped us make all these videos.
I think there's something cool and probably another important lesson there to just linger on about focusing on one thing. So you need to learn how business works, how what a good deal looks like, what a bad deal looks like, what a good release and build up schedule, building the anticipation, all of that stuff. And if you try and do it with too many things at once, it's difficult to learn what the lesson is because you're so distributed, you're so spread across all of these different projects that you're not
I
actually
agree.
focused. You're
Yeah.
not drilling in the learnings from this one thing. So for me, it was nightclubs. And for running 15 years of all of these different events,
Heard
and
you
I would
talk about that.
really, really dial in what a good build-up sequence looked like. And I would understand how to use anticipation to get people to really care about what the outcome was going to be. And then I'd understand what the drop-off in terms of interest was, and then how you can then restart that with more things and more things and more things.
Yeah.
And that now gets ported across. When we did the launch for Newtonic, I did exactly the same thing. It might as well have been a club night. If you changed it from productivity drink to new club night Fridays at whatever club, it would have been the exact same process, the exact same thing that I'd learned.
That's
and I'm
true.
going to guess that it's the same thing that you learned from the merch that you then port across onto Happy Dad, that you then
Yeah.
port across. Oh, we've got a new guest coming out.
It's just
So-
building hype.
Yep.
Everything in this business is just building hype, right? And once you learn how to do that, I feel like you can apply it to anything.
Talk to me about the principles that you sort of think about when it comes to building up hype around either a drop, new video, new podcast episode, new Happy Dad collab. Like, what are the main areas that you're looking at?
I don't know. I'm not the best at kind of defining the way that like my mind works sometimes. But I mean, building hype, yeah, you can't go wrong with just literally what it is building hype is like, you know, say it's dropping on this date and then maybe 2 days later post something else about it, remind people. 2 days later, post something different and engaging, remind them again. And then the day of, you know, posting like a bunch of times before something happens. I think sometimes it is fire just
Out
hitting
of
them
nowhere?
with the sneak attack drop too, because that goes crazy sometimes. But yeah, you can't go wrong with building hype and doing multiple posts, building anticipation.
Yeah, I mean, there was this really interesting study that was done that I loved because I was starting to learn about psychology, but I was still in nightlife. And they got people to track their level of happiness throughout the entire day and night of going out on a night out. And you'd think, at what point would happiness be at its highest? Maybe 12 midnight, when you've got a good enough buzz on and you're with your friends and the music's amazing, but you're not too messy and so on and so forth. It was way before that.
Really?
The time when people were
The
happiest,
best part of the night's the pregame.
getting ready
Yeah.
with your friends
Pregame's
when the
the
music's
best.
So what does that tell you? It tells you that the absolute bullseye of human pleasure is things are about to be awesome. It's anticipation,
That's
right?
very interesting.
It's not about the payoff. It's about waiting for the payoff. Like, the hottest part of sex is not the sex bit. It's the bit as you're taking your clothes off before sex.
Yeah.
That's the hottest part.
Yeah.
Because it's the anticipation of what's about to happen. And I think that, you know, what you guys have landed on, and certainly what I've landed on, it's the same reason that we release clips from this podcast before we release the full episode. So this will have a Tuesday clip and a Friday clip, and then the episode goes on the Monday.
Yeah.
Because it builds up that anticipation. And sometimes people say that it's cruel, but I think it's just effectively utilizing the human reward system.
That's a good way of defining it. Yeah, because the pregame is the best part of the night, for sure. When all the boys are just there before the girls pull up and you're just cranking beers, just chilling. So I can definitely relate to that, actually.